March 13th, 2020. The world as we know it fell into chaos. COVID-19 started rattling our world in businesses and schools began to shut down. The world as we know it was beginning to cease. With schools changing their ways of learning, we decided to interview 4 students who have been affected with their school experience.
Hi, my name is Dominic Cremeans, and I'm a TCTC student.
Hi, I'm Brooke Whittaker, and I'm a TCTC student.
My name is Porfirio Torres, and I am a TCTC student.
I am Logan Russell, and I am a student at TCTC.
My first reaction was I was unsure of what was happening. I wasn't really happy with what was happening, but then I thought I could stay home and watch movies or just play with my dog if I wanted to, or just sleep in general. I was pretty happy at first, but I was unsure of how serious the pandemic was.
I got really upset because that meant I wouldn't be able to hang out with friends, I wouldn't be able to see too many people, I'd be stuck at home.
My first reaction was I was actually kind of shocked, to be honest, because we've been making jokes about it days before, because we kind of knew something was coming, but we just we didn't really think much of it. It was just all kind of crazy to us that all of a sudden that was it. School was over.
I honestly thought I knew it was coming. Well, I didn't think I knew it was coming. So it didn't catch me by surprise. It caught me by surprise on how urgent it was.
The kind of grades that I had were amazing. I had almost all A's, but B's too. But I also tried in all my classes. I did not take any extra classes, but I was doing pretty good for myself, I would say.
My grades were not the best because of the virtual learning.
I mean, before school closed, they were kind of C average, but when in some areas, English, it improved. But in areas of science, it just kind of tanked because there was a bunch of in-person work that I had to put in, but I couldn't do anything about it because we weren't going to school. We were all virtual.
The original school closing, I was getting A's and B's. I was on the honor roll, but when school closed, no, I did not.
How it affected my scheduling was I did not really do anything outside of my house before the pandemic. And after the pandemic, I still don't really do anything outside my house. I'm an inside person.
It affected my scheduling because I was supposed to have a track season. It got canceled because of COVID and softball got delayed.
It pretty much affected my scheduling with I pretty much had no motivation to do anything. I'd rather just sit in bed. I used to, in the summertime and actually most of the time during school closing, I used to stay up all night just playing some Fortnite or something like that. Playing Fortnite with the boys, hanging out with the boys. It was kind of boring.
It honestly affected it more than anything. My sleep schedule was thrown off so bad. It took me so long to get it back on track and anything just to even wake up and go back to school.
How it affected my mental health was I feel more isolated from everybody than I ever have. But I do want to try to talk to more people and be more out there. You know what I mean? And as far as the pandemic affecting my life as a person, I felt so isolated. I did not want to talk to anybody. I just wanted to be alone and watch movies.
My mental health took a big downhill turn because I was stuck inside and I couldn't really do much. So
I guess it affected it by at the time I was kind of going through a little bit of I was going through a bit of a breakup, so usually how I cope with all of it, I kind of push all of it aside, do what I want to do fun things, but I couldn't do any of that because everything was unfortunately closed.
I like to stay positive. I'm more of a happy person, but it really did affect me mentally. I I went through breakup a while ago, and the thoughts of her just came back and everything.
The biggest problem I faced by being stuck at home was having to share everything that I had with my siblings.
The biggest problem I faced being stuck at home was not having the motivation to get anything done because I was so depressed and like there was really nothing to do. So
I guess my biggest problem was not being able to see any of my friends and not really being able to do anything. The only thing I really was able to do was just go outside and play basketball or go outside, throw a football around, go kick a football, and that kind of got boring after a good while.
Definitely not wanting to be there for as much as I was. So most of the time I was out doing things with my friends and things like that. I just did not want to be home.
In December of 2020, schools shut down again because of COVID cases ramping up once again. This is their reaction to the second lockdown and how they were affected by the second lockdown.
How I'm better prepared for the second pandemic lockdown is I understand what would be happening and I'm already prepared. I have Netflix on deck and I'm ready to watch Hulu or Family Guy, stuff like that.
well, I've been through one lockdown, so I feel like I'm more prepared for the second one because I know what's going to happen. I know what it's going to be like.
To be honest, I really wasn't that prepared for it. It was kind of all sudden. Everything basically just kind of stopped because nothing was expected. It all of a sudden just happened. Like everybody here. Like I take a multimedia class here at TCTC, and everybody was just scrambling to get gear and all that. And it was like, we weren't prepared for this at all. We didn't think another shutdown was coming. We knew COVID cases were getting worse, but we didn't think it was coming.
I was more prepared on what for sure I was going to do. I knew for sure that I wasn't going to mess up my sleep schedule or anything like that, and definitely take it more seriously than the first shutdown we had. So it was just a big old mental mind game for me.
My reaction to the lockdown was I was unsure if the pandemic was serious or not, and I also feared for my loved ones and people close to me. I also was unsure of how my dog would react to me being at the house every day. I would think he would like it, but I was unsure.
I was just kind of upset, but not as upset as like I was the first time.
My reaction was, it was kind of ridiculous because, in all honesty, I feel like the cases are still just as bad as it is now. I feel like nothing really changed, but there's nothing really you can really do about it because you have like kind of selfish people not really social distancing, wearing their masks. So what can you really do? We're Americans, we're selfish.
Kind of the same way for the first one. I kind of had a feeling that it was coming since our numbers in Trumbull County were rising really, really bad. I thought that it was going to shut down either sooner or later. I just didn't think that we were going to come back as quick as we were. I thought it was going to be shut down for the year.
How my mental health has improved since the school closing is that I am now more happy to be in school than I ever have been. Usually I hate school, but only being able to come like 3 days a week really has me wanting to come to school, and I feel more happy. I don't feel as isolated because being inside for months on end by yourself kind of makes you reflect on your life.
My mental health really hasn't improved much, but it has improved.
Oh, it's definitely improved because I feel a lot happier than I used to be. A lot of good things are coming my way and all that. Even with COVID, I guess COVID was, and all the shutdowns were kind of like a lesson. Kind of a lesson to those who are kind of going through mental health like depression and anxiety and all that, showing, it does get better. Even through the toughest conditions, it does get better.
It definitely has, yes. It has definitely improved. I definitely learned how to cope with certain things while I was out and this and that. It was easier for me.
How I feel about the new way of schooling is I feel confident that it does not help spread the COVID or make the pandemic worse. I think that the students do not learn as much. Personally, I am not learning anything new in math except what I already know. But I think people are being at home, they don't really want to do work, so they can just play on their phone while they're in the meets or Zooms.
I definitely like it a lot more. I feel like it's a lot easier to get stuff done when you're in person, and I like being able to hang out with friends all day, and I've never enjoyed school as much as I do now.
I hate it, to be honest. The new way of schooling, it's terrible. Now some schools, like my home school, Southington, they're going 5 days a week, but here at TCTC, they're doing alternate days. Like, for example, juniors go Monday and Wednesday, seniors go Tuesday and Thursday, and then we alternate Fridays and all that. And actually, for like the last almost 2 months, we really haven't had Fridays. We've been off the whole time.
I can't stand it. I personally, I hate it. I hate the fact that I just hate online, period. I hate just hybrid, because you miss a due date, you're pretty much screwed from it.
Yes, I think it's harder to do in person and virtual, because when I'm at home on virtual, I have trouble staying focused and keeping my attention to virtual. But while I'm in school, I have trouble focusing on all the work that I have to do, and it stresses me out.
I think it's harder to do online because it's harder for the teachers to explain what to do, and it's harder for students to comprehend the directions. It's easier to have that visual representation in class.
It is a lot harder to do in-person work, in my opinion, because online you can turn in at any time, but in person, you miss a day and you miss the due date, it kind of screws you over, and then there's more work adding on top of it. It's all hard.
Online, because I don't know if any other people are like this. I struggle with math really bad. I need to sit in person and do math. I can't do it online, and my grades really reflected that really bad. So I'd rather be in person full time than virtual.
COVID-19 has definitely affected the way schools have been teaching and the way that students have been learning. Hopefully soon this whole virus will end and school will return to normal. Together we can stop this virus by social distancing, wearing our masks, and vaccinating. Hopefully one day this world will return to normal.